Hello, everyone. I'm deeply honored to be here and sharing the space with you. My talk on mindfulness will be divided into three parts. One is explaining the concept of mindfulness. Second is why does mindfulness matter? And finally, sharing a few practical, simple mindfulness tools, which I hope you'll be able to use. But before anything else, I'd like to invite you to a small mindfulness session with me. So if you've got earphones on, this would be a good time to put them on. So go ahead and close your eyes. Go inside. Bring your attention to your breath and notice your breathing. How does your breath feel right now? Is it shallow or deep? Is it regular or irregular? Is it smooth or jagged? Simply notice. Allow your breath to follow its natural cadence. Now begin to lengthen your breath. Make it smooth. Make it deep and regular. Now, wherever you are, take 3 deep breaths. And then, and then
Sanjukta.
gently,
Namna huyu nani?
now you may open your eyes. Welcome back, everyone. Mindfulness is experiential. What you just experienced was a taste of mindfulness, where your breath was the object of meditation. So, what is mindfulness? It is simply the basic human ability to be fully present. It is a tool that allows you to explore the workings of your mind, your sensations, emotions, thoughts. The Greek Stoic philosopher, I think, expressed the concept of mindfulness perfectly. He believed that the foundation of all philosophy is self knowledge. So, mindfulness is really awareness of awareness. But if you had to define mindfulness, you simply have to turn to John Kabat-Zinn, the creator of the mindfulness-based stress reduction programs that are offered in hospitals, healthcare, and medical centers all around the world. Mindfulness simply means, according to him, 4 things: paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, where you suspend judgment. I repeat, paying attention, on purpose, in the present moment, without judging. Judging means you do not say whether you like or do not like that experience. So the meditator notes without reactions whatever comes to mind, thoughts or sensations, and effortlessly lets them go. It's the nature of the mind to have thoughts, like you have clouds in the sky. And this method or this tool helps you create that distance between your thoughts because you are not your thoughts. So, why does mindfulness matter? And even more so in the current environment when we have a world pandemic going on. The science is clear, or may I say, it's even more clear than it ever was. Now, to decide whether mindfulness matters, one has to come to the intersection of ancient meditation practices and neuroscience. Mindfulness trains your brain, it trains your mind, and when you train your brain, you remodel its physical structure. Lately, there has been an explosion of studies done on mindfulness with brain scans of meditating monks functional MRI imaging, there are doubts in the research done. Are standard operating procedures followed? Sometimes the empirical evidence is doubtful, but possibly the most complete research has been done by two lifelong friends with shared undergrad experiences. Daniel Coleman, the founder of emotional intelligence, and Richard Davidson, a pioneer of frontal lobe asymmetry. They both wanted to develop a scientific understanding of meditation as a tool for maximizing human potential. So this book, which you see on the screen in front of you, Altered Traits, reveals how meditation changes your mind, body, and brain. This book discussed the research done on meditation. Together, Coleman and Davidson did a literature review of over 6,000 scientific studies on meditation, and they selected 60, which they believed had the highest methodological standards. So Davidson has a lab, and in that lab, they invited the French monk Matthew Riccardo, whom I had the privilege of learning meditation from in Hong Kong more than 10 years ago. And they recruited many monks and conducted many experiments and trials. They divided the meditators into three groups. So you had the beginners, you had the middle level meditators, and then you had the Olympian level meditators. And that's remarkable because you do have a lot of monks, especially in Buddhism, where they go into 3-year, 3-month, 3-day retreats, and they would have accumulated over 62,000 hours of meditation. So they mapped those brains. They traced specific parts of the brain that are affected by meditation, and this is what they found: that the amygdala, the reptilian brain, the seat of our basic survival functions, is much less reactive in meditators and has a stronger link to the prefrontal cortex, the seat for cognitive functions. Regular meditation practice reduces our reactions to emotional cues and stress. And at this time, we all can develop, it's very natural to develop a proclivity towards fear, anger, sadness, anxiety. So mindfulness practice makes you less responsive to these triggers. It puts some space between your thoughts. It also helps to retrain attention. What it means is, by multitasking, you end up exhausting your brain, and multitasking fosters distractions. Mindfulness enables you to develop that single pointed focus that is needed today. They also claim that mindfulness turns off the brain's default mode network. What does that mean? When we do nothing, our brain enters into a default mode network, which means whether you're reading Kant's Critique of Pure Reasoning or you're sunbathing at the beach, your brain consumes the same amount of energy, which is 20% of our metabolic energy. So mindfulness helps you to switch off that default mode network. I've also mentioned there are higher gamma waves, which are produced in the brains of people who practice mindfulness regularly. Now, these gamma waves are correlated with large-scale brain networks, such as working memory, attention, perception. And those who've practiced compassion or loving kindness meditations, the studies have shown increased connectivity in circuits important for empathy and positive feeling. So therefore, increased levels of empathy, increased levels of compassion. Despite the increasing scientific evidence, it is very easy not to be convinced. You could argue absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. But it is safe to say mindfulness certainly enriches the brain. I was introduced to the practice. Actually, I was forced to do it when I was 11 years old. And today I'm 56. And today, it's one tool that I always turn to, which has helped me in meeting all the challenges that have come while living this short life. You may have read Conrad's book, Educating for the 21st Century, but I'd encourage you to read it, Seven Global Challenges. The first chapter he dedicates to mindfulness. Dr. Hughes mentions, which is correct, a mindfulness craze. I mean, you just have to Google mindfulness and you'll see the number of hits that you get. He adds that reports and promises sound too good to be true. Is there not a danger that mindfulness could be a hyped up fad? Will mindfulness be enough to give young people the resources they need to be fulfilled in their lives? Another hard hitting question: is it realistic to transfer a cultural practice from one extensively defined context to another, quite different now? And I totally understand that question. Growing up in India and then spending 15 years in Hong Kong, practicing meditation was a part of my life. It always seemed natural. I would wake up in the morning, I would see my father sitting down for 15 minutes. I'd always see my mother sometime in the afternoon. It didn't seem like you have to schedule it in, you have to timetable mindfulness. It's something which happens quite organically. So I do appreciate the cultural differences. But these questions raised in his book allows for experimenting. That itself is at the heart of the practice. It is experiential. And even the ancient yogis of India, and if you read Indian philosophy, the Upanishads, they all say, look, this was our experience. Now you go and experience it yourself. Now focus a bit on the mindfulness practices. Dr. Hughes suggested disconnecting, which is disconnecting from screens. He suggested engaging in serious, rigorous, high quality sports and arts, which helps to induce the state of flow. That's another topic altogether. And then he suggests mind wandering, where you allow your mind to rest. And this is a wonderful framework, or it sets the stage for deeper mindfulness practices. So they're great tools to use in school. But in terms of simple practices that one can embed in our daily life, and it does not mean you have to sit cross-legged in a lotus position with your eyes closed, meditating for hours. You could do a mindful walk where you're present on purpose, non-judgmentally, focusing with your full attention. Okay. Journaling is another very powerful tool. It's a mindful practice, and gratitude journaling is something you could encourage yourself or the students you work with. What you practiced with me was a very small exercise on focusing on the breath, on noticing where your breath is. Washing your hands, which we encourage to do all the time now. So you mindfully wash your hands, pay attention, stay in the present moment, suspend judgment. Do not go into whether you like or dislike that activity. Okay? I'd like you now again, all of you, to close your eyes and go inside. Check in with yourself. How do you feel physically? Begin to scan your body from the tip of your head right down to your toes. Are you relaxed? Or do you notice any area of tension or resistance you may be feeling right now? And label that feeling. Now raise your awareness to your heart center and tune into your emotions. Are you happy or bored or worried? Once again, label that feeling. Now raise your awareness to the space between your eyebrows and tune in to your thoughts. Are you planning or remembering or scheduling? Simply calibrate where you are now physically, emotionally, and mentally. Now, gently open your eyes. I'd like to invite you all to join your palms together. Okay. Close your eyes again and visualize this wonderful group that we have the privilege of being together with, and invite gratitude into your hearts. Now, slowly bow forward. The lightened me bows down to the lightened you. We'll close this talk by saying namaste to each other. Thank you very much, all of you.